Deirdre Verbo here on Let's Talk Seniors, Memory Care Issues, Alzheimer's, Dementia, and Parkinson's. Thanks so much for joining us today. And as always, we're bringing you information on seniors and for help for people caring for seniors and everything about seniors. And if there are any topics that you want to hear, just write to me, call me, and I'm happy to get a specialist on that topic. I would just like to say how proud I am to be in this book, Women Who Push the Limits, presenting 50 life lessons from inspiring women. I am very excited that Lynn Murphy has interviewed me and put me in her book. And it's talking about just the different things I've done in the field. And one of them is opening up a senior residential assisted living home right here in Connecticut. And I love it. Our guest who's on today, Julie Ashely, was just explaining how, she's from the South and how this is really big in the South. And it is a preferable way of living for seniors with assisted living and memory care needs. This is not a thing as prevalent here in the Northeast. So it's like a group home. We have 6 seniors living in a beautiful home, 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and a regular ranch style home, all custom fit and designed to fit their needs. And 2 round-the-clock CNAs with them all the time in a beautiful neighborhood. So it's just like a home they're used to, a family. It's a true family. So I love it. I just got my second home underway, and I am happy to talk to anybody interested about that. So our next guest is Julie Ashely. Julie Ashely is working with a good friend of mine, Robin Staver of Staver Care. Wow, she comes with a lot of experience. She has been a social worker for more than 25 years, and she was director of social services. After spending a year and a half in a nursing home during COVID, it was just more than she could take. She was ready for a change, just so much death and so many people that couldn't see their loved ones. And just, it's devastating for care workers, not just the seniors, but it's devastating for everybody dealing with them, doctors and nurses and social workers. And it's a tough time. So she was ready for a change, and she found Robin Staver, who's an amazing woman who has more than 25 years in geriatric care management. She was doing this in Manhattan for so many years, and she opened up an office in Connecticut, much to our happiness, just 3 years ago. And Miss Julie has joined her. They have such a cool thing they do. It's called 5 Wishes. And it's changing the way we talk about advanced care planning for your senior. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Julie on. Welcome, Miss Julie. How are you?
Thank you, Deirdre. Thank you for the introduction. I'm good.
You're welcome. So, Julie, I know that, we met, and I know that you work with Robin for a while now. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, how you came to work with Robin, and what you're doing with Staver Care?
Sure. So like you had mentioned, I've been a social worker for 20 plus years. Most of that has been in skilled nursing facilities. I've done admissions, discharge planning. I run support groups. I've run bereavement groups. So after COVID had hit, I decided I needed a change, and along came Robin and offered me a job. And now I'm a geriatric care manager working in the community, doing everything I love, meeting one-to-one with clients and meeting all their needs.
Well, tell us a little bit about what geriatric care managers are, because prior to starting a home, I had never heard of them. And I think it's amazing and such a need. And I'm not sure if other people haven't heard, but why don't you tell us what Staver Care does and what geriatric care managers actually do?
Well, I like to call it, we're almost like a pseudo sister for a lot of people that are out of state, that need help managing their elderly parents, a spouse. We do everything from advocating to helping with living wills, to if they need in-home services, placement in assisted livings, or a wonderful home like the one you have. We just coordinate all the services for them.
So in particular, what if somebody's nearby, but they still use your service?
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes they just don't know, and especially if there's siblings involved, sometimes they aren't always clear on what the parents want, and that's when we come in and we help sit everybody down and just discuss what the major needs are.
So you're not just an advocate for the senior, you're an advocate for the whole family, and you're like the glue that brings it all together and make sure
Exactly.
all the wishes get fulfilled. And then you help
Mhm.
with everything from their living wills to helping them do any financial planning they might need, uh,
Right.
with helping them with legal needs they might have, or if they have a home, or if they're married and one of them's sick, things like this.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
And
then
we
also,
also help apply for insurances like Medicaid or the Connecticut Home Care Program if they qualify.
oh, do you help them do Medicaid spend downs?
Yes,
Oh, excellent.
absolutely.
So then people come to you to figure out what exactly to do. You're like, why reinvent the wheel when you already know everything? You know the homes, you know
Right,
the, the legal, you know the medical aspect, you know the home aspect, you know everything that they need to know so they don't have to go and reinvent the wheel and go do tons of research. You actually,
exactly, exactly.
that
Yeah.
is so cool. And it's so important to know these things. We actually have a neighbor. Oh my goodness. We have a neighbor whose mom inherited money and just 3 years ago, and she's in her 90s. And she distributed the money between her three. She didn't inherit it, she won a lawsuit. And she
Oh,
distributed the money, which was a few $100,000, between her three kids because she didn't need it.
right. That's hard. It's
It's
difficult.
2 years later, and the mom is in her 90s, and she needs to go into a nursing home.
Mm,
And she does not qualify for Medicaid. And she's given away all the money because of the 5 year look back. And the family did not know of this. So they either have to give back a few $100,000, which they don't have, they spent it.
sure.
So now the mother is, it's a problem.
It's a very difficult
It's a huge problem. So
situation.
people need to know stuff. And
It's good to get a care manager involved before these situations
exactly.
happen. As we're aging in place, it's always good to have somebody that knows the guidelines and knows how to help and knows how to help you just start the
Oh,
process.
they would never have taken their money if they knew. They
Right.
had no idea there was a 5 year look back. And why should they? You know, they specialize in another field. So that's why they would
Exactly.
need somebody like you to say, oh, what's the legal ramification if my mother's without money? They just assume she goes on Medicaid if she's without money, but that's not how it works. So
No,
it's good whenever
unfortunately.
there's any major life shift, right?
Mhm.
To come to you.
Absolutely.
An, Ill,
Absolutely.
an illness, a sale of a house, an illness of one's spouse, inheritance, if they need to go on Medicaid, if they're dementia, like in case they need somebody to take over their POA, power of attorney, and things.
Exactly. And you know, listen, the community resources are always changing. State regulations are always changing. And
Mhm.
even now, I mean, 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to offer a family member to live with their aging parent and get paid for it. But now the state has a grant for that where they will pay you to be a living caregiver for your mom.
That's
And
very nice.
right.
That's really nice because
Mhm.
oftentimes people are giving up jobs and sacrificing a lot. And even though it's just a stipend, it's at least something that can keep you going, which is
And
nice.
it gives you a choice of who your caregiver is going to be.
Right. So you don't have to hire
So
somebody else.
important. Mhm.
So, Julie, tell us about this 5 wishes that you and Staver Care are so deeply involved in. How
Yeah.
does, what are the 5 wishes?
So the 5 wishes basically gives you a choice. Our typical living wills just talk about, first of all, when somebody hears will, they think about finances, but this is
Mhm.
all about your healthcare wishes. It's about who you choose to make your healthcare decisions if you're not able, if you don't have a voice anymore. And that's most important. You assign in this document called the 5 wishes. I'm just going to show it. There's a little bit of my writing on it. Um, but it talks about assigning a healthcare proxy, somebody to make the decisions for you when you no longer have a voice or you're not able to make your decisions. Um, and then it takes it many steps further, talking about the kind of treatment that you would want or the treatment you don't want. And that usually comes down to a code status, CPR versus DNR.
Mhm.
Um, and then the third wish is how comfortable you want to be. Um, if you want people in the room with you, if you want people praying for you, if you
Oh, if you're,
prefer
you mean if
massage,
you're on hospice?
and it also could be the discussion of hospice as well. And then the fourth wish is how you want people to treat you as you're going through this process. Um, and then
What are the choices of how you want people to treat you? Don't you want them to treat you like
well,
the queen? I don't know. How would people treat you when you're going
well,
through?
right. So some people, it gives you um, the decisions like, oops, I'm sorry, like your comfort care. Do you want hospice involved? How do you want people to decide about your pain management? Um, it also, do you want people praying at your bedside? Is that what's important to you, to have whatever your religion is, to have the community in with you? Um, do you want your hand held? Do you want massages? It's all very
I'll take
personally
those.
based. What's
I'll take the massages.
there you go. So that's what, and the fifth wish is all about, it deals with forgiveness and how you want to be remembered, your final wishes, funeral services, if you would rather be buried or cremated. So it is very, very detailed. But you know what? I've been a social worker in long term care, and it really, it's your voice when you're not able to voice your needs in the moment. And it's really a gift to your families.
So, are they reluctant to fill this out, Julie? Are they a little like thinking, oh, this will, like, I don't want to have to deal with death? Or are they filling it out willingly?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, nobody wants, when is a good time to bring up what you want for your end of life, right?
Mhm.
So it can be intimidating. I found, even with my own mom, I work in the business, and when I first brought it to her, she wanted nothing to do with it. Right. So I filled out one for myself. And when I visited with her again, I showed her, this is what
That's a
I
great
want,
idea.
and the steps. And she warmed up to it. Has she filled it out yet? No, but she's going to.
Getting closer. No, but
Yeah,
that's a great idea to fill it out yourself because, even if you're not elderly, that doesn't mean that anything can happen, right? So you might as well
right,
have yours as well. You don't have to wait till
right.
you're elderly because, you know. Hmm.
Anything can happen in a blink of an eye. And
Hmm.
to me, I've worked in hospice. Um, I did my internship at an inpatient hospice, and I've seen what it can do to families having to decide, having to make the tough
Mm.
decisions. Um, this is like a gift. It's very personalized. It is exactly what you want. And your families don't have to make those decisions if it's already in writing right in front of them.
Yeah. Are you saying that there's a lot of trouble? Sometimes are you saying that you've seen trouble between families that want to do opposing things with their parent when they're older?
Oh, yeah. Everybody has, especially with siblings, they all have different ideas of what their parents might want or how they personally feel um, about how to deal with the end of life decisions. and it can get really tricky.
Yeah. So how do you use this? Are you giving it to when people come to your clients? Are you talking to them about it, or are your clients mainly the children of the elderly or elderly themselves?
It's a mix of both. And we bring it up when we do a comprehensive assessment when we first meet our clients. And this is offered as a resource. And then we give it to them and we just explain how important it is to assign somebody in your family to make medical decisions when you're not able to.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are hesitant because they feel like if they sign it, that person can make all decisions for them, but it's only in the matter of when you're not able to make your own decisions.
And do you suggest that people, if they have 3 kids, leave the decision to all 3 kids or just choose one?
Hmm. I would say, well, the good thing about the 5 wishes is on the second page, when you're deciding your healthcare proxy, you assign one person. And if that person at the time does not choose to or cannot be involved, then you can list the second person, the third person, the fourth person. Um, and another thing I wanted to point out is when you do complete this, and I know the older generation, they always have that lockbox, or they go to the bank and they have important documents put away. The 5 wishes you really want to have, once you have it filled out and signed, you want to give it to your primary physician, and you want to have it
Oh,
somewhere. You want to give a copy to your healthcare proxy, and you also want to keep it somewhere where it's easily found.
okay. So would you want to give it to your kids or whoever?
Anybody that you're discussing your wishes with, I would suggest giving it to as many people that you know are going to be involved in your life and making decisions. And on the last page of the 5 wishes, there's a wallet card. And on that, it lists where your 5 wishes can be found and who your healthcare proxy is, which is very important.
That is important. When my dad was sick, I told my mom I thought she should carry around his power of attorney and the healthcare proxy paperwork naming her in the car
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I
because
said, I'm in my 40s. I filled one out, and I do keep one in my car. Uh, Also of note, if you're my age or younger, I would suggest updating it like every year or 2 years or 3 years, just to make sure what you want is current.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That makes sense. So, what have you seen as one of the most different wishes that somebody has wanted fulfilled?
I actually had a patient who had entered the nursing home in her 70s. She had MS. She had her wits about her, and she actually did have one of these filled out. And she specified um, in the last part, in her fifth wish, of what music she wanted played at a funeral and how she wanted to be dressed. And she really wanted professional makeup on.
Mm,
I was like, good for you. so,
wow.
so you don't find that in a typical living will. And it really gave her family something to focus on other than the loss of her. And
No, that is fun. For instance, I've done this myself,
mhm.
and I want a party about my life, and I want them to play ABBA, Dancing Queen.
Oh, perfect.
And I have behind me, you can't see, but I have a wall of photo albums. And I want some of those photo albums out
Right.
so people could see my life
Hmm.
and that I had a great life. And that is what I want to be a party.
I think that's wonderful. I mean, and with the 5 wishes, you can, what I love about it is it makes suggestions of what you want. And if at any time you don't want it, you can cross it out. But it also gives you enough space to write, if it's not included, write exactly what you would like or what you don't want. And the end of it, it even puts in amends. Like if a family member had angered you, it gives full permission that you forgive them. I mean, how
Oh,
special.
that's really, really
It
nice.
really is. I think that it's hard to talk about our own death and dying, and nobody really wants to bring it up. I'm sorry. But it's important. I mean, one thing we can all bank on is we are going to pass, and it's good to have a set of instructions with our voice as a part of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I started the residential assisted living, I thought the hardest part for me, because I haven't dealt with a lot of death, was going to be elderly people dying, because we've had a person come in at 99 and a half years old on hospice. We've had 3 people pass away that came in on hospice, and it was actually beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was not what I expected. And it was nice that our other residents could be around them. And we were seeing to one of them how much is that dog in the window and stroking his hair and, being so sweet with them. And it was beautiful. And the families were so happy. And it was not, I mean, it's always sad, but it wasn't like, crushingly sad. It was like, it was a beautiful send off.
Absolutely. I mean, I know it's everybody's preference, but I'm an advocate for hospice. I was in my 20s when I did my internship, and I was scared to death to go to the inpatient hospice. But I'm telling you, the experience and the enlightenment it gave me, and especially working with the elderly. I mean, to me, just preparing for death and having everybody on the same page is something special. It really is.
I saw a beautiful thing in a nursing home. When somebody died, everybody lined up in white. And instead, like nursing homes, usually if somebody dies, they want to keep it hush hush, and they're taking them out like the back door, wherever they take them. And they did the complete opposite. It was an honor to their life, and I could cry, but they lined up, all the workers and all the other people in the nursing home, the food staff, everybody lined up on 2 sides and carried them out in a beautiful procession out the front door with music playing. And it was beautiful.
That is beautiful. And that must be great for the family if they're there to have witness of. Absolutely.
It is emotional, though.
It is. I mean, as much as I talk about it, and like I said, I do bereavement support groups and caregiver support groups. I always get choked up. I do when I talk.
Well, I love the 5 wishes. And now that you're talking about it, I have a few people to send these to. Now that we're talking, a few elderly relatives that I am going to be helping when the time comes. So I would love to know. And my aunt has already expressed lots of things to me like that, but I'm going to put in writing. She picked out songs that each kid, when they come up to do a speech about her, a song per kid. Well, I think she forgot about that. That was like 10 years ago, she told me. So I want to put those down because, she'll want those wishes. So
the 5 wishes was created by a gentleman. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he worked in hospice for a long time, and he worked with other healthcare workers, and they put it together. And I just think it's so special.
I love that.
And it's also, as a social worker, it's a gift for the families, so they don't have to make these tough decisions. It really is. I had one woman that was saying that when she read it, there was a part, I want to say in the 3rd wishes, where they said, gave her permission. It said on it, and he crossed it out, like, I would like to die at home. And everybody would love to die at home, but sometimes it's not feasible. And it really gave her the permission to be guilt-free. He had to go to an inpatient hospice. And when she saw that that was his choice and it wouldn't have been an issue for him, it really gave her relief.
Yeah, I read that like 80% of people would prefer to die at home, but only 20% actually do.
Right.
And interestingly, I had the lady that I was telling you who brought her mom, who was 99 and a half years old, all during COVID. Most of COVID, she had her mom at home and was taking care of her. And, you know, the woman was in her upper 60s, I'd say, watched her grandchildren as well, had a husband, you know, had things going on in her life. And I was like talking her out of bringing her mom to my home. Because I was like, what? You're like, she's 99 and a half. And you've been with her all this time. And you know she doesn't have that long. Like, don't you want to keep her home? And she said, no. She said, I cannot. My mother's take gasps for breath. I'm gasping for breath. My mother, anything happens to her, it's happening to me. She said, I can't, it's 24 hours a day. I can't do it. I'm exhausted. I don't want hospice in my house. I don't want all the visitors in my house. I don't want people traipsing through I can't sleep. I'm not. But she came every day for like 8 hours to our home and stayed with us. She was unbelievably dedicated, but she was so grateful that she got to sleep and rest and could, you know, breathe at home. I saw a different light. You know, I saw that,
I mean, I think we all, if we had our choice, would want to die at home, thinking about it right now.
No, but then you're leaving your kids. Then you're leaving your kids or your spouse with like, you died in that room.
Right. And the reality is I had a girlfriend who did hospice at home with her father. And looking back on it, it's hard for her to be in the home now. It is.
Yeah,
and I don't
exactly.
I don't think it's where you are when you're making the transition. It's the comfort and the care that you receive just to keep you comfortable. That is what really matters.
Yeah.
So, and caregivers need their reprieve as well. They do.
My goodness. Yes, exactly. So how can we get a hold of the 5 wishes?
So you can go online to, I believe it's 5wishes.com.
Staver Cares?
It's not under us. It's through the actual foundation of 5 Wishes.
But can they get it from, can't they get it from you? Robin said that they can get it.
Oh, they absolutely can. We have plenty of copies. You can give us a call. We can provide it. We can go over it with you.
So if they call Staver Care, you or Robin, 203-216-3208. That's your direct number, right, Julie?
The direct number, yes.
And what other things do people commonly call you and Staver Care about?
Everything. Family issues, future planning, living wills. If they need help in the home, how do they access what agencies? If they are thinking about leaving their home and going to an assisted living or a residential home, they give us a call and we just help them through the whole process.
And do you recommend people that can like help them move, help them pack, help them?
Oh, absolutely. We have a whole book of resources. Okay. So all they have to do is call us and we coordinate everything.
You're full of resources. I had a woman call me today about my home, and it was her husband needs to go into a nursing home, and he's in a assisted living now, and he's 78, and she was about the same age, but her like 98-year-old mom was still alive in the house she grew up in Connecticut, and she had to move her husband to nursing, and her son wants her to move to Massachusetts, and she was overwhelmed.
Yeah, we like I always say with our services, it's better to contact us before an emergency happens. but also, I mean, we do get a lot of calls with people that are in crisis.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a tough one. Well,
Yeah.
Julie, you are just what you and Robin do there are amazing. I just want
Thank
to say I
you.
love it. Until a year and a half ago, I never heard of geriatric care managers. When I met Robin, I'm like, this is like a little angel sent down from heaven. It's
She
like
is.
everything that you can provide, all
Mhm.
the guidance and help and services. It is so nice. It's just you have your wealth of information and a wealth of services and just so caring and loving. It's like you guys are like a big hug. And I
Thank
think people need
you.
that, especially in this time of what they're going through with a loved one. And it's
Not easy.
no, and they've never done it before.
Never.
Typically, this isn't
Yeah.
like the 10th time they've had to deal with it. It's the first. So, and it's somebody they love. So they're so close to it. So it's, it's never easy. But you guys make it, you women, take the pain out of it, make it easy, and really hold people's hands through the whole thing. And I know Robin is the same way. So you're both very beautiful people. I just want to say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and the 5 wishes, I love it. I am going to send that to a few people and fill it out myself, just in case the family thinks I was joking about ABBA. I'm not. I'm not. And they might think I was. So I'm going to put that in my will now that, you pointed that out. That's a great idea.
I'm going to hold you to the dancing queen.
Right. But, who knows? Like people could die before me and other people could forget.
Right. Exactly.
They have to, and I might, when I'm 99, I might not want ABBA anymore. I'm not sure. We'll see.
No, it's timeless. It'll always be good.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We hope.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Staver Care, and Julie's direct line is 203-216-3208. But Staver Care is in Connecticut, and you service mainly Fairfield County and as well as New Haven?
Yes, absolutely.
New Haven and Fairfield County. Mm-hmm. So give them a call. You'll be in good hands. Thank you so much, Julie. Bye now. That was Julie Staver. Julie Ashely with Staver Care with Robin Staver, who was actually trying to come on but didn't get her video working here. But hello to Robin. We missed you. I just love the geriatric care managers. I had no idea they existed. So instead of reinventing the wheel, they can help you if you need a Medicaid spend down, if you are confused about Medicare for yourself or your loved one, if you're not sure what to do with your parents' money, how to preserve it. There's 5 years look backs to moving ahead if they ever have to go into a nursing home. They can do everything from medication, help with medication and dementia and how to find a diagnosis for you, to what to do with your aging parent or your spouse or yourself if you're worried about yourself. And just they help in every way, and they're just the most loving people I ever met. I just love them. It's just they work together with every other geriatric care manager, every nurse, every doctor. It's a beautiful community. So do take advantage of them. They're here for that reason, and they just love the elderly. They love all people. So they're a great resource. Well, until next time, thank you so much for joining us. And Let's Talk Seniors, memory care issues, Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's. And if there's anything any of you would like to hear, I am here to come up with any other topic you'd like to talk about. Otherwise, we have some great topics coming your way. Next week, we have Kristen Casati from the Alzheimer's Association. She's going to tell us what's new in Alzheimer's research. And then on March 30th, we have such a cool thing, such a cool person coming on, I should say, not a cool thing, but a cool service. It's called Chefs for Seniors. And Cheryl Berling will be here talking to us about Chefs for Seniors, which is a quickly growing national franchise about how to have chefs come into your home and cook for you at a very reasonable cost. It's a great gift idea for yourself and to give to your senior loved one. Well, until next time.
Hi, Deirdre here again.
Thank you for joining me on Let's Talk Seniors Memory Care Issues. Is this an issue hitting home? Do you have a parent or loved one with memory care issues who feels not safe at home anymore? Are isolation, falls, and safety issues becoming a big concern? Welcome to Dogwood Senior Home, premier boutique residential senior living specializing in memory care. It's country living at its best in the Huntington section of Shelton, Connecticut. Senior residential homes are concepts sweeping the nation with 47,000 across the U.S. We're pleased to open Dogwood Senior Home as it will be only number 6 for Connecticut. Brand new, sparkling clean, and safe. We are COVID-free. Residential care homes boast a very low COVID infection rate across the nation. This is due to the intimacy of size and speed in which the caretakers can shift to accommodate immediate needs. They are much safer than the large homes and facilities, as you can imagine. It has been documented that residents have less falls and a better quality of life in a residential home environment. Our home is more affordable than the big box facility. You pay one all-inclusive price, and that price is guaranteed for the life of the resident, with an incredible 1-to-3 caregiver ratio, which you won't find anywhere else. Our friendly, loving caregivers are dedicated and trained in Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson issues. Call me at 203-689-7562 for a talk and tour. I would love to meet you and your loved one. See you soon. Bye.